Are you looking for the best laptops for college? In this video we will look at some of the 5 best laptops for college on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Apple MacBook Air 13, 2024. The best laptop for college we've tested is the Apple MacBook Air 13, 2024. This premium model is ideal for college students who need a thin, light laptop to write papers, browse the web, and consume media. Apple's base M3 SoC is well suited to light productivity tasks and even some video editing and 3D graphics. Plus, this is a fanless device, so you won't have to worry about loud fan noise in classrooms and libraries. The overall user experience is amazing. You get a sharp, bright display, a spacious keyboard, and a gigantic haptic touchpad. Port selection is its biggest weakness as it only has 2 USB-C/Thunderbolt 3 ports, and these ports can only output to 2 external displays with the lid closed. The Apple MacBook Air 15, 2024, is also a good choice if you want a bigger screen with better sounding speakers, but it costs more. If you need or prefer a Windows machine, check out the Microsoft Surface Laptop 7th Edition 15, 2024. In many ways, it provides an even better user experience than the MacBook Air, sporting a brighter 120Hz touchscreen, a more comfortable keyboard, and a wider port selection. However, unlike most Windows laptops that most people are accustomed to, this 7th edition model sports an ARM-based Qualcomm SoC. The X Elite chip can easily handle general productivity tasks, and its incredible power efficiency results in a 17-hour battery life during light uses. The downside is that Windows on ARM is relatively new, at least in this iteration with Microsoft's new Prism emulation, meaning you might encounter apps that don't run at all or perform poorly, so it's best to check with your school or professor regarding compatibility. Number 2. Acer Swift Go14, SFG14-72-53BP. Our recommendation for a more affordable mid-range option is the Acer Swift Go14, 2024, a 14-inch Windows Ultra Portable. It's compact and lightweight, and while it isn't quite as rigid as the MacBook Air above, it still feels pretty sturdy for the price. The battery lasts around 11 hours of light use, and you can charge it via USB-C, so you don't have to deal with a proprietary charger. It has a spacious, albeit slightly mushy keyboard, a large and responsive touchpad, a 1080p webcam, Wi-Fi 6E, and a wide port selection that includes 2 Thunderbolt 4s and an HDMI. For around $700, the price may vary a bit, but not by a lot. You can get a configuration with a gorgeous 90Hz 2.8K OLED display, an Intel Core Ultra 5 CPU, 16GB of RAM, and 512GB of storage. The Core Ultra 5 processor is plenty fast for general productivity tasks, and it can even handle more demanding workloads like programming. There are configurations with a faster Core Ultra 7 CPU as well as more RAM or storage, though expect to pay more. Finally, remember that the OLED flickers. There's a flicker-free IPS display option available if you're sensitive to screen flickering. However, the IPS panel has a lower FHD+ resolution and a slower 60Hz refresh rate. Number 3. ASUS Vivobook 16M1605, 2023. If you are on a budget, then get the ASUS Vivobook 16M1605, 2023. This model feels well built despite its low price, and it's relatively portable for a 16-inch device. You can get it with an AMD Ryzen 5 or Ryzen 7 CPU. Both are more than adequate to handle most student workloads like text processing, web browsing, and video playback. RAM configuration is limited, as you can only get 8GB or 16GB. 16GB models are harder to find, but the upside is that the memory is user upgradable, so you can just get the 8GB model and pop an SODIMM memory stick later on. Battery life is okay at around 8 hours of light use. The overall user experience is good. It has a comfortable keyboard, a large, responsive touchpad, and a decent 720p webcam. The display looks reasonably sharp but a bit dim and washed out, a common drawback of budget-friendly devices. However, you get plenty of nice features like Wi-Fi 6E wireless connectivity and a fingerprint sensor for quick logins. There's also a decent port selection with 3 USBs, a USB-C, and an HDMI. The USB-C doesn't support video output, so you'll have to use the HDMI port to connect an external display. Number 4. Apple MacBook Pro 14, 2024. For college students in more technical fields who need a high-performance laptop to run intensive applications, get the Apple MacBook Pro 14, 2024. This new M4 model's outer design remains unchanged from its M3 predecessor, though there are a few noteworthy internal upgrades, which we'll get into shortly. In short, this is still a premium workstation laptop with an exceptional all-aluminum build and a compact design. You get all the niceties of previous Apple Silicon MacBook Pros, like a sharp 120Hz mini LED display, full-sounding speakers, a spacious keyboard, an easy-to-use haptic touchpad, and tons of ports for peripherals and external displays. The battery lasts easily through a full school day and takes less than 2 hours to charge to full. Aside from the expected performance increase that comes with every new generation of MacBook Pros, there's a change in the base RAM configuration. The base model with an M4 chip now comes with 16GB of memory, while the Pro and Max models get a bump up from 18GB to 24GB. Other upgrades include an increase in display brightness when viewing SDR content, up to 1000 candelas per square meter outdoors, a 12MP webcam with Apple's Center Stage feature, and Thunderbolt 5 support, M4 Pro/Max models. There's also a new nano-texture display option that further cuts glare in well-lit settings. If screen real estate is more important than portability, you can get the larger Apple MacBook Pro 16, M4. It's the same device but with better-sounding speakers and a longer battery life. It's more expensive though, and it's only available with an M4 Pro or Max chip, meaning there's no base M4 configuration. Number 5. ASUS ROG Zephyrus G14, 2024. If you want a laptop that you can game on during your downtime, get the ASUS ROG Zephyrus G14, 2024. Sleek and compact, this 14-inch model is easy to carry around while still packing plenty of processing power to provide a smooth gaming experience in demanding games. It has a gorgeous 120Hz 2.8K OLED display, a tactile keyboard, and one of the best speaker systems you can find on a Windows machine. You get Wi-Fi 6E wireless connectivity, a facial recognition IR camera for quick logins, and a wide port selection, including 2 USB-Cs and an HDMI 2.1. Regarding the configuration options, you can choose between an AMD Ryzen 7 or 9 CPU paired with an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4050, 4060, or 4070. If you don't mind playing your games at 1080p, you can go with a 4050 model, but for 1440p gaming, or 2.8K, we recommend upgrading to a 4060 or 4070. RAM and storage max out at 32GB and 1TB, respectively. Only the SSD is user replaceable, which you might want to do later, as 1TB fills up quickly with the size of most modern games. Battery life is decent at around 8 hours of light use, so depending on your usage, you may have to plug it in